Environment and East Kolkata Wetland Management Authority. Dr. Shamanto is also the head of training in, the training division.
FRAI division.
Yes. So, so this training division of the Central Indian Fisheries Research Institute, we are going to work with them, and Dr. Mosink, I will be referring to all of this in my lecture on the 19th of October, because
it's not a lecture; it's a talk.
Yeah, it's a talk. It's a talk. It's a talk. Right. So,
right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would like to invite you for a lecture, but that will be taken much longer.
Yeah. So for the starting talk on the 19th of October, I will be referring in greater detail to this, but these are the kinds of links which are very, very helpful for now and for the future, and this is what can very meaningfully involve the community to ensure the kind of scientific intervention which is so needed to rejuvenate the wetlands and to set a kind of a template for what we can do for the future in any new intervention. So, and I mean, Dr. Shamanta never fails to respond to my requests for attending these kinds of discussions, and they believe in interaction with the community to the maximum extent possible. The only thing, this is just 4 slides just to do some housekeeping. A very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of us who have joined from so many different places and spaces for today's webinar, Women, Wetlands and Climate Resilience in Asia, Policy and Other Elements for an Empowerment Roadmap. I am Dhruva Dasgupta, and I am the Project Director for the Society for Creative Opportunities and Participatory Ecosystems. And I am joined with my co-organizer and colleague, Shantanu Chakrabarti, who is from DISHA, or the Society for Direct Initiative for Social and Health Action. We are both based in Kolkata, and we work in different spaces, but with a lot of commonalities and a lot of goodwill. So let me get straight to the housekeeping announcements and just a little bit of an introduction. This is where we are, and this is the 3rd signpost to Bali, which Kusum and Marit will talk in detail about. This is who we are. We are a stewardship-based organization with a complete focus on wetland ecosystems, and our main area of focus is the East Kolkata wetlands, which is the largest ensemble of sewage treatment ponds anywhere in the world, contiguous ensemble of sewage treatment ponds, and this is the organic and eco-friendly way of treating sewage and a nature-based solution. And it is an excellent story of how nature, science, and community can flourish together. And here there are issues about women that we will speak about. This is the set of logistic details for today, and I will ask you all to read through it, please, along with all the points that we are presenting over here about how to use the registration link and how to use the feedback form, etc. We are making one additional request. Those who are going to put their questions in the chat box throughout in the Q&A session will be requested to also put your name and the name of the speaker to whom you are addressing the question. That will help us identify and make things a little better for us and a little quicker, because we are all very respectful of the time limits and request all of you to be equally respectful. Any links that can be shared in the chat box can be shared throughout the conference. throughout the webinar. And so, Professor Jayakumar, thank you for registering and for coming online. And so thank you for registering. He will soon come online. And this is these are the logistics details. Okay. So we are, Scope and DISHA are organizing this webinar, and Scope is a member of the original Women and Wetlands Consortium where all these ideas started, and DISHA is a new partner. But this is just for everybody's knowledge that these were the original organizations that came together to form the Women and Wetlands Consortium, and more about that will be said later. To just take things forward, hereafter, Shantanu Chakrabarti, my colleague from DISHA, is going to speak a little bit about DISHA's work, and he will hand back to me when I announce the next step forward in today's webinar. Over to you, Shantanu.
Thank you, Dhruvadi. Welcome everyone to today's webinar. Hello, my name is Shantanu Chakrabarti. Currently, I'm the coordinator at Society for Direct Initiative for Social and Health Action, DISHA in short. So we have been working with Scope on wetlands, but primarily we are an organization that works a lot with natural resource dependent community. So we work a lot with community who are dependent on forest resources, community who are fishermen, small fisher folk who are dependent on natural resources like river water, coastal areas, and also wetland. And that's where we come together. I'm also a legal practitioner by profession, and that's how I personally came to know. I mean, I met Dhruvadi over a matter regarding wetlands only. And since then, personally, in my personal capacity, I've also been engaged with many litigations regarding wetland. And I'm looking forward to listening from you and your experiences about the challenges, about the kind of policy demands that are crucial at the moment. And as a lawyer, also as a co-organizer, I'm just here to listen to you all. Thank you. Over to Dhruvadi.
Thank you much, Shantanu. And so, according to today's format, we are going to enter somewhat informally, as informal as it is possible to be within the bounds of a technically set up webinar. And I will just announce that this webinar is being held under the umbrella initiative of the Women for Water Partnership, and Marit is there from the Women for Water Partnership today. And it is being, so she is the convener, and it is being chaired by Kusum Athukorala, who needs no introduction. But I will now display both their bios for you all to take a look, and subsequently I will request both of them to kind of discuss with each other and let us know the turn of events that has led to today's webinar, and what are the things that we are looking for, the messages that we are looking to exchange. So here we are. This is about Marit.
Kusum, maybe at the same time when people read, we can start actually to say what Women for Water is, who we are.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yes. Women for Water Partnership is a network managed by women and for women's organizations working on water and sanitation related issues in over more than 100 countries. The network assists with knowledge exchange, research, vocational training and mentoring, advocacy and fundraising. Membership encompasses grassroots women, academic and professional women and organizations. A large majority of work is done on a voluntary basis, and Women for Water connects SDGs 4, 5, 6, and 8. Our most recent activities as a network include an extensive report on mentoring and the forming of a coalition to further joint activities in that regard. Our research on enabling women through local direct funding will be published soon. Inter alia, Women for Water is a member of the Call for Action to accelerate gender equality in the water domain. This is set up together with UNESCO WAP, the World Water Assessment Programme, but we will come back to that. So that is for you, Women for Water Partnership. I'm the president, and of course, Kusum, I would like to introduce her. She is one of the founding mothers of the Women for Water Partnership, and at the moment, a steering committee member. Together, we have done 9 World Water Fora together there have been, or number 10 is coming up. So we've visited them all, and we followed them all and had an enormous impact, I can say, in the different countries where the fora were, like Korea, like Japan, but also Senegal and Brazil. So we aim to have an impact on states so that they see our point of view, but also on the non-state actors to really look at women and water. So I think, Kusum, we have done these webinars before. We have had a tremendous grant of SEI, which is Stockholm Environmental Organization, and this was right in the COVID time, so we had to do this through webinars. So I think your idea of having this signpost to Bali with quite a number of webinars is a very good initiative. So maybe you can explain a little bit more. And you're muted now.
Yes, I am. Honestly, see, what happens is that, we as Women for Water Partnership, we have been working together, and we have also been in many, many global meetings. So we are very much aware of people who operate at the stratospheric level. But our duty and our mandate is to bring the voices of community women, community men, community organizations to those very stratospheric meetings which are held periodically. So basically, now if you look at the World Water Fora, what we have observed is that very often they become a platform for organizations, for agencies who are well endowed. We are not well endowed. Marit said, that I am a founding mother. I feel very much like, Mother Hubbard's with an empty cupboard when it comes to women supporting women. So Mother Hubbard's also have to talk about the issues at women's climate finance, for instance. Climate is what we are all talking about, but then we say, women can make a change, but do we empower them to make that change? Do we give them that support? Do we give them that capacity building? And sometimes they need money. And this is the issue that we thought we would take to Bali. Bali is going to be very important for us as all South Asians, because this is the first WWF, World Water Forum, which comes to this side of the continent. The other two were in Korea and in Japan. So when it comes to Bali, it is very important for South Asia, Southeast Asia, and also maybe Central Asia. But how many of these people, how many of the communities, their problems will be reflected in Bali? And there's no way that we can take all these people, to Bali. Right now, funding, we are seeing quite a drop in funding in the development sector. But supposing we were able to set up this system of maybe 25, 35, we are ambitious now because so many people are coming and saying, we'd like to get engaged with you. We would have meetings which would then be consolidated into a program, a report, which could be taken to Bali. The problem of all these stratospheric level meetings is that the players are very often divorced from what happens at the ground reality. But if you want to make a change in the lives of people, if you want to make a change in climate affected communities, we have to engage in capacity building, we have to engage in awareness building, and we have to engage in supporting these communities. And very often, Women for Water Partnership likes to say that we don't talk about women, we talk about women and youth working together, because we see that this is the combination which works. Women and youth are catalysts which make change. And this is something that we really want to support through this program called Signpost to Bali. We have already had three meetings. This is the fourth, and the fifth is coming on very soon. So please join us in this joint effort to take the voice of Asia, the Asian women, the Asian youth, the Asian communities to Bali. And fortunately, we have some time. We have 6 months really, and hopefully this is going to gain traction as we go on, and that our message about the challenges and the need to involve women in communities, youth in communities will resonate as we go on. Thank you.
And I don't know if I have another 2 minutes, but I think first of all we have to acknowledge also that Sarada has been very active during our webinars. So I'm very happy to see her here. And just to add to what Kusum said, we are not only going to Bali with all our knowledge from the grassroots, but also the knowledge we got at the UN 2023 Water Conference. That was the first water conference. Also due to us, we really pushed for that in 47 years where water was high on the agenda, water and gender equality. We pushed for an international UN Water and Women Year, and we will get that in 2026. There will be a World Water Development Report on water and women. So at the same time we are member and started the coalition, the call for action accelerating gender equality in the water domain. All these things together will come into Bali and will be highlighted and vocalized for women, for grassroots, and their challenges. So I hope you really will follow us and continue to give us input. Thank you very much.
So may I introduce our keynote speaker, Srimati Neelam Meena, Environment Secretary, Government of West Bengal, and the Director for Institute of Environmental Studies and Wetland Management. She will be our keynote speaker. She is our keynote speaker for today. And we will just exhibit the slide and give you a minute to take a look at her work. And then I will exit and request ma'am to begin. So let me just show the slide. Ma'am, let me request you to please begin. If you can kindly share your screen. A very warm welcome once again.
Thank you, Dhruva. First, I extend my sincere gratitude to the organizers of this event to share my views and experiences with all of you. I have been given the topic of women, wetlands, and elements of enabling policy environment. As you know that policy formation needs some analysis like what is the issue and nature of that issue, the problems, its effects upon various stakeholders, its causes, and ensuring participation of all the stakeholders to address this issue. So I will just, in brief, I will go through all these 4 aspects of a policy, how to make an effective policy and ensure participation of all the stakeholders. Here the issue is the paucity of water. Wetland is associated with waters. So with the paucity of water, I'm trying to share my presentation in the meantime. But I'm because time is very short, so I'm continue talking also. So paucity of water, yes. Paucity of water has many ill effects. You know very well. I don't need to define and elaborate all these things like loss of tree cover, biodiversity, food and drinking water, scarcity, climate change, and all these things. So now, what are the causes? This is the important issue because causes, until we analyze, we can't decide our actions. So causes in India, I found that first, depletion of groundwater due to installation of deep tube well is the major reason, and cutting down of trees due to growing population pressure. The forest land, not forest exactly, but the land having trees are being converted for this cultivation purposes. And now these wetlands are also being filled up in many places for agriculture and other purposes. So you know wetlands, what is wetlands? I am not elaborating this again, but yes, I will say that wetlands are integral part of the water cycle. It controls floods, acts as a buffer during the rainy season, control these floods and recharge groundwater. It has economic and cultural importance also. It supplements our humans as well as animals' dietary requirements, provide water for agriculture, fisheries, and other activities. I'm also skipping this very fast. Next, the issue is why should women be involved in water conservation? In India, the major source of anxiety and hard work for the women is the collecting of water and firewoods. Both are associated because water scarcity is generating scarcity of firewoods. Though firewoods are also not good for the climate purposes, but this water scarcity is causing women a lot of stress because they need water for everything: cooking, cleaning, washing, storing, and providing safe water for drinking and health issues also. So if water is not available in the vicinity of the households, they have to walk on foot for a long distances, and it is causing problems to them. Another issue is that this scarcity of water is reducing their income. So earning members of the family are migrating to the cities, leaving women behind to take care of the youngsters and aged members of the family and to manage their agri-land as well. So women are the worst sufferer of paucity of water. And we now again that now we are seeing that women are directly interacting with water and are important stakeholders. They are highly aware of the importance of water. Now the thing is that how to utilize their experiences to protect this water regime, ensuring clean water for daily usage and other purposes. So for this purpose, I saw that at international level, various bodies have already recommended that participation of women should be encouraged in formulation of policies. They should be allowed to make decisions like Dublin Rio Principles 1992 categorically has stated that women plays a central part in the provision and management of safeguarding of water. And it also says that it requires positive policies to address women's specific needs. So women's specific needs, as I mentioned earlier, they have specific needs to run their households effectively. They want to use water and empower women to participate at all levels at water resource programs, including decision making, the same thing. Similarly, Ramsar gender approach has also mentioned the need of women's participation at various levels for making decisions. And very important of this, the Ramsar gender approach is very appealing is that they have recognized the role of women, including indigenous and local women. This is very important because in many places, many countries and states, we found that they ensure participation of women, but the voice of local women, the indigenous women, is not there. It is from the top to down level. Now we have to come from down to the top level. So this is very important. So in continuing to this, Ramsar gender fact sheet has also outlined the positive consequences of including gender in the form of greater resilience and capacity for adaptation to change their climate resilience in wetland ecosystem. It should be highlighted at various levels that definitely Ramsar gender fact sheet, when prepared this sentence, they have done various studies. Those studies or case studies should be shared with all the nations and governments so that they will get encouraged to give more opportunities to women. in India, our National Action Plan for Climate Change 2008 has also recognized the problems and suffering of the women. The same way that it increases the scarcity of water and decreases agricultural yield and causes various human health, affecting children and women and elderly particularly because they are the most vulnerable. And it all emphasizes that in adaptation programs, special attention need to be paid to the this gender aspect. So we have Government of India has prepared a national wetland atlas already in 2007-2008 by using satellite imageries, and precisely they have geo-referenced those wetlands also. And out of this, I saw that in West Bengal, the state I am representing, has the largest number of wetlands in India, around 9,000 wetlands, having more area, 2.5 hectare and above. This is a very huge number of wetlands because it has coastal regions as well as gangetic plains. That way, it is full of water resources. This area is. Now it has two Ramsar sites also, Sundarban and East Kolkata wetland, which Dhruva mentioned. East Kolkata wetland is very important. So this national wetland atlas has been given to all the states, and we are now, like in West Bengal, we are now geotagging all these wetlands. This task has been completed, and we are preparing brief documents as per our national rules. We are going first like 10 hectare and above wetlands we are covering, so that this brief document will capture all the information about the wetlands, like their health status, their biotic factors, socio-economic and cultural importance of the wetlands. Everything it will capture, and these will be shared with the concerned gram panchayats and local levels also. And we have one state wetland authority. In every state of the India, there is a state wetland authority. And now in our state, we are going down to that. We are in the process of formation of committees for wetland management at various administrative levels, like district level, under this subdivision levels and block levels. And we will try to engage local women and experts also at the village level. So they will act as a vigilant agent. Because now the major problem in India regarding wetlands is the encroachment. Siltation is not such a big problem, but the problem is encroachment. So encroachment need to be protested by the local people. The women can lead a major role here. They can inform authorities that this encroachment is happening there. And we are developing wetland friends like Bandhu or Sakhi, we mentioned them, by making them aware of how to conserve these wetlands, how to make the records of all these. So we have a very strong partnership, or we can say that very strong women's representative are playing very significant role in various aspects, like they are already working for the health of the pregnant women and primary education of the children through various government schemes, Anganwadi workers, and as an ASHA workers. So Wetland Bandhu, Wetland Sakhi, they will act in the same way. And I'm sure that they will definitely make a change in the wetland scenario in India. So, but apart from this, there need to be some other initiatives, like as mentioned that the Ramsar gender approach told me that 50% of the women, at least I think 50% of the population is women, so at 50% of the participation of women should be mandatory, and incorporation of local village level women should also be mandatory. It is necessary because each and every wetland is like a living ecosystem, and they have different problems, like every human individual has a different problems specific to that person. Similarly, wetlands also have specific problems. So to address those issues, the participation of local level women is also necessary, so that they can give specific suggestions for maintaining the health and ecosystem of the wetlands. For this purpose, the capacity building of the elected representatives as well as local women through various awareness and training program is extremely urgent. We are preparing a plan for this, how to go to the village level for generating awareness among them, and through various schemes like posters and pamphlet write-ups, electronic media and print media is also we will also explore, and more and more seminar, workshop, and lectures, and sharing of the success stories from other areas or the international level also will make a great effect, because the visuals from different areas, how they have successfully implemented or protected their wetlands, water bodies, definitely create a positive impact upon other areas. So this is important. Organizing eco tour and nature camps is also important. We are exploring this also. And my suggestion is to protect wetlands with minimum expenditure is to plant like coconut trees and fruit bearing trees along the banks or embankment of the wetlands, because it has two we can say twice importance. Number one, it will give high yield, like this fruits, it will get, even the local community will get fruits for their own consumption or for marketing purpose. And creating footpaths, not exactly the trekking path around those wetlands.
Sorry, there is some issue at this end. I just request all of us to just please be with us, and we are yes, ma'am.
Shall I stop?
Okay. Yeah. Yes, please. Yes, please, ma'am. This was one of those uncontrollable problems.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, thank you, Dhruva.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Kusum, over to you, please. Please unmute yourself.
Yes.
Kusum, please unmute yourself.
Yeah. Thank you very much, ma'am. That was extremely useful, especially because I'd really not looked at this, the Ram's Agenda Guide. This is something that maybe we need to look at much more, with a little more detail. But thank you very much.
Yes. Shilpa, over to you.
Namaste and my greetings to all. I'm really grateful and honored to be a part of this webinar. Especially all the organizing committee members, Scope and DISHA, who have personally invited me to be a part of this webinar, apart from their Global Water Partnership, Global Water Alliance, and Women for Water Partnership. So I'm being asked to speak about my experience on the women community with whom I'm working for the last 15-16 years since my research period. So let me share my PowerPoint.
Yes, it is. It is, Shilpa.
Yes. So I'm being asked to speak about the empowering the women or encouraging the rural women towards the wetland management, and what are the challenges and the prospects they are facing while doing this. So I will be mainly focusing on the West Bengal context. And since I'm working with the Fisher women community, that area, because I'm the advisory member of DMF Women's Wing, so I am extensively working with their rights and with their problems. So I will be focusing here in this presentation with that part only. So this is for the international participants who are there, that in India, there are actually more than 25,000 wetlands. And these wetlands, there are both inland as well as coastal. So Gujarat is being called the land of the wetlands. And in our state, West Bengal, we have Sundarbans, which is the largest wetland in India. And this is also the home for the largest mangrove forest in the world. And women of this community, this Fisher folk community, they play very important role in protecting, conserving, and managing the water bodies, and therefore their empowerment is required for an effective management for maintaining this wetlands. And as we all know that fishery, apart from farming, fishing is the second largest occupation in India also. And women contribute around 50% of their workforce in both pre and post harvest fishing. But this segment is very sad to say that no policy, no legislation, and even neither a single particular scheme has been devoted for this segment of women in our policy when we see in the budget or in the policy drafting. So this is the most neglected segment of the nation, although they bear the most important, the foreign exchange earning as well as increasing the GDP of the country, because we know from fish production we earned a huge revenue. So what I was telling, that West Bengal has a long coastline of 158 kilometers, and in this, the people of West Bengal, they are under the severe threat. Now, this is in this chart I have given the map where you can see the 36 most important wetlands are under the threat. Although I have said that there are around 27,000 wetlands. Next slide, please. Yeah. And this is the status of the West Bengal, where women are mostly associated with four categories of job. The women are directly into fishing, sorting, drying, and a major part of the women are involved in fish venturing. And next slide. And also the special category of women in West Bengal, whom we call the tiger widows and the sea widows. Okay, they have got a special identity. We are also fighting for their rights and for their for their identities. Now, this is just a chart I have given through my research, that how much percentage of male and female and child are involved into this fishing occupation and other activities. So this is just a chart. Next slide. These are the two major, now this is the West Bengal map. Now these are the two major coastal districts of West Bengal. One is the 24 Parganas and the other is the East Midnapur, Purbo Midnapur, where we have this, two major blocks. That is the Dadun Patrobar block, which is very famously known as Digha Kontai, which is also a very famous tourist place. So these places, now these two places have the opposite character also, but I cannot explain it because if you see the nature of Purbo Midnapur, mostly the women here are engaged in fish vendoring. Here only one or two women, they are directly into the sea fishing. They go to the sea as a fisher. But in Sundarban, the picture is just opposite. In Sundarban, the majority of the women, they are involved in crab fishing and they go into this hazardous, dense, deep jungle for, for getting those crabs and shells, these things. Next slide. Now, again, this is a profile, the land, coast, and how many reservoir, everything is there. Next, Shantanu. Yeah. So these are the activities which mostly the people of West Bengal, the fisher women mainly do, as I said, fishing, fish sorting, drying, and fish vending. And also there is another category of women. Recently, they have been, they have been located through our findings and through our mobilization. They are the net weavers. Okay, a large number of women in nowadays are involved in net making and sewing work also. Next slide. Yeah, now what are the major threats? Now the threats are mostly this six category. It is also the same threat as I have seen in my workshops, national and international also, that people, they have the same problem like Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, West Bengal, Maharashtra. These are the five main coastal states of India. The women, they are all facing the same challenges in these six aspects. Like next slide, resources, like discrimination. Next slide, please. Yeah, like less facilities for women as compared to men, like they don't have proper a marketplace to sit, and also they don't have the transport to bring the fish from the the landing center. So these are the main problem, and also they are being harassed by the police if they sit beside the roads, streets, and as a result they have to face lot of struggle in living their livelihoods. And these are the common problems as said by the Maharashtra Women Fisher Group and Andaman Fisher Group. So next threat is challenges in the fishing gear, because they are mostly fishing through their traditional and sustainable methods. But this data is yet not captured in India. So this area is still under not research. Post-harvest threats are like they don't have the shades or market space, proper, the amenities which are required, basic to work in a proper condition. Social security, as I said in my first part only, that no gender has been allocated in any budget, neither any schemes nor any welfare things. Lack of leadership and participation. Most of the women are very, very ignorant, and they don't have, the knowledge to speak also. Like, they are very invisible and unheard. Next one. Next slide. Yeah, other issues are like domestic violence, sexual harassments, okay, by their husbands, and also they also face the burden of migration because of the climate change, because of the cyclone, because of the kind of thing, pandemic also. This has hit the worst, this community, in the last 2-3 years, and West Bengal has been worstly affected due to three back-to-back cyclone, Amphan, Fani, and Bulbul. So they are in very deep trouble. Next slide. I'm just going into this. So these are the basic, challenges which are being addressed, like traditional fishing community problems are there. They are also demanding for the preferential small access to the small scale fish work fishing. Next. What are the just the point I'm highlighting? The land right, they're demanding for the land right. They are also demanding for a sustainable national policy, and also establishing the small fish vendor rights and entitlements. Next slide. Yes, and also mainly, since I'm speaking about the women, so women, they have a plethora of demands. Like, there are the basic 21 demands which we are placing in front of the government, also ministry, also among them. Next slide, which I've highlighted in short. Next one, please. Yeah, like old age, infirm pension, health and life insurance coverage, maternity, child support, child care, education, savings come relief. These are the basic amenities which they are demanding. All the vendors, the sorters, the dryer, the fishers, the specially. Next one. But there is a special, like these things we are having. We have placed the deputations, meetings back to back by our organization in mobilizing the fisherwomen. Next one. Yeah, these are the tiger widows. They are the special because they have to face a lot. Neither they have recognition, nor they have an identity, nor they have an economic earning. So we are, and there are more than 3,000 tiger widows in the Sundarban areas. So now next we have Geeta Mridha. So they are, these are the demands, and these women are mainly, moving ahead for this climate, how to build the climate resilience, and how to manage the wetland. They are also engaged in planting the mangroves. Next slide, please. Like, you can see, more than 2 lakh seedlings have been planted of different variety, the Sundari plants. Next. As you can see, this person is no more in the second slide. He is Arjun Mondal. He was basically the pioneer and the initiator to plant this Sundari, but due to a tiger attack, we have lost him in 2021. Next slide. Yeah, Geeta Mridha. They are the two main faces of DMF. One is Geeta Mridha, representing the Tiger Widow, and she is also nowadays placing the petitions with the Human Rights Commissions. And second, this photo is blurred. She is Taposhi Dolui, Vice President. She is an active member, and hugely she is mobilizing in all the districts of West Bengal. The women, not only the women but also the men fisher folk. As you can see, she is doing the registration of the DLC with the men fisher folk community. Next slide. Yeah, so these are the condition which you can see the women are not having any kind of basic hygiene and proper condition to work. These are the net weavers of the Kalika Nagar of Kagdip area of West Bengal. Next one. Yeah, so these are our team. In a general, all the women of different district representative, trade union leaders, we met in the last, this annual general meeting of the DMF, where we have the pleasure to meet Medha Patkar madam also. So we are the women team. We are trying to mobilize, participating in different parts of the world together to fight for their rights. Next slide, Shantanu. Just two more. So here we are. We were presenting this, this petition in the Women's Commission Office for their identity. And the good part is that they are trying to give us our due recognition. They are also working on this. Next one. Yes. So the need of the hour is just simple. Give them their recognition, which they are really, they have not received. proper working condition, preferential access to small-scale fish workers, special recognition and benefits to be given to the tiger widow, sea widow. Budget should be met. Leadership training capacity workshop. Women fisherfolk leaders to be included in the decision-making process, and both state and non-state actors means everybody has to sensitively think about this women community because they are really marginalized and backward next compared to the other states. So this is the thing I want to say, that our support can only make them, give them social security, sustainable livelihood. In West Bengal, the situation is really, really very worse compared to Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, and Kerala, because their women are still, empowered through cooperatives and SHGs. But in West Bengal, the women are yet they are very far behind in forming the cooperatives because they are still invisible. So we have to, mobilize them. So this much what I wanted to say my experience in the short period. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Shilpa. I think this is a fantastic experience because your visuals strongly picture. You really bring out some very good visuals. And I think that in a sense, sometimes the visual would be long remembered after the lectures are and the books are forgotten. So thank you very much, because I think there are lots of initial, when you look at the issues are very much the same, whether we are talking about Kerala or even in Sri Lanka. And I do love this way that every activity that I seem to take part in West Bengal is so easy to remember, because you tell Matsya Kanya in Sri Lanka, we know exactly what you're meaning, right? So thank you so much. And shall we have the other bio, Dhruva, please, while we are the next bio, please. Professor Jayakumar, it is so nice to see you. I know you have had an extremely heavy day, but thank you very much for joining with us. So can we, do we have...
I do not have a PowerPoint, but I'm going to speak.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah, this wetland has been an area in which I've been working for past 15 years. I was involved in the wetland management of Kerala, 3 of the famous Ramsar sites, Vembanad, Shasam, Kotan, and later on working in wetlands in other part of the country as well. I must remember that wetland management by women is very, very less, but in Kerala, it is extremely good. In fact, when I was working in Kerala, we had a very interesting project on wetlands where we talked about integrated mangrove agriculture for environment management and socio-economic upliftment of rural people in Kerala. Mainly, we focused on women, and we trained women in making livelihood using a lot of this wetland products. In fact, many of the beauty products which the women made from the raw material available in wetland are being picked up so well by the public. And you also find, in fact, I was just listening to Dr. Neelam about the East Kolkata wetland, which I was also interested in that, but then that wetland has become more of a drain rather than a wetland right now. In fact, I was there in Kolkata last week, where just I was in tears when I saw the Kolkata, East Kolkata wetland, which probably requires lots and lots of involvement of the government, of the people, of the to involve to make it, bring it back to life. And I was also happy to see Shilpa's talk, where she showcased a lot of West Bengal culture. One of the things that we did in Kerala was, development of aloe vera vegetation all along the backwaters of Kerala, which gained a lot of livelihood for women in that region. Probably the Kolkata wetland, the jute cultivation could be taken up by the women in wetland. That could be something which you people should train the women for, making jute products and things like that. And women are in Kerala and West Bengal, a lot of similarities with the women. Women are very hardworking. They never compromise on, not being able to do. So there are a lot of similarities between Kerala and women, Kerala and West Bengal, and these type of things. In fact, the beauty products made from wetland, especially for aloe vera, are so popular in Kerala. I think they are even making the traditional, this cosmetics out of date. If people go and ask for women-made, there's something called Kudumbashri in Kerala. Kudumbashri is a women organization where they make these type of things and then market it all over the country. And then they also make products like soaps. Women form groups and make soaps and sell all over the thing. In fact, there's an organization called CSTED in Kerala, Center for Science and Technology and Entrepreneurship Development, completely run and managed by women. The number of women who are postgraduates, graduates in science, engineering, management, so many. So the women form the Center for Science, Technology, and Entrepreneurship Development. They train thousands of women across Kerala and make women empowered. And in fact, you'll be surprised if you see women driving trucks, women driving three-wheeler tempos, collecting garbage and taking everywhere. It is just amazing. It's unthinkable anywhere else in the world. Now, one of the work which I'm presently doing is, using, of course, high-tech technology, remote sensing and GIS, to find out how we are losing the wetlands. Basically, the encroachments, which nobody can deny it. When I take a photograph of the sky, nobody can deny that it's been lost. So we found many of the wetlands. The area is shrinking. When the area shrinks, what earlier holding is not able to hold, it flows over, causes floods in the neighboring region. It happened in Dal Lake overflow has caused the floods in Kashmir. 2015-16 was basically the reduction area of Dal Lake. The extra water ran through River Jhelum, came to Himachal and caused floods. So that is a very major issue that is understood. And now all of us, when mainly the women, I think they should concentrate on urban wetland. There are many wetlands, the urban region. I can give an example of one person in Hyderabad. She tried to revive a lake. It was in a bad shape. She started a voluntary basis. She revived a lake, used the software technical personnel to help on Saturdays, Sundays to clean up the lake. And the lake is so beautiful now. She grows fish there and allows the farmers to catch fish in the neighborhoods. Because they're catching fish, they're on the sides. She also grows some small vegetables, and that has become very popular. But unfortunately, some of the landlords wanted to encroach that area and construct building there against her. She's being harassed by the various departments, but then she is standing. She's so strong and continues to improve the lake. In fact, I was amazed when I went there last time, when garden, a lot of vegetables, fishes growing there, and people around the area enjoying the whole place. I can share some of the photographs of that lake sometime later when I get another opportunity to work on this. And we have an organization called Wetlands South Asia, where unfortunately the women representatives are very less in the general body as well as the governing council. I think Kusum should try to get more people from Sri Lanka, and of course India, we got 3 or 4 into this organization. Let us try to make all the wetlands in South Asia, we conserve them and make them, because these all, I treat them as the kidneys of the nature. They clean the water. In fact, one small work which I did about 20 years back was using constructing a wetland in my city. I constructed small wetland, meters of water, wastewater, grew a typha family of plants, and in 7 days I could improve the water quality by 90%. In fact, without a single, no chemicals, no power, it's a constructed wetland. Of course, it's a part of a PhD student of one of the PhD students, and he got something like 12 papers from his thesis, just diverting wastewater from an open channel into my wetland and clean and improving the quality by 90%. On the inlet side, there were water was black in color. On the outlet side, we could find tadpole and fishes. So I showed them that, and this water can be used for all non-consumptive use. And if I treat them, it can be used for general service. Don't it is from that place. This wetland was functioning till about 2007. Later on, it was closed and they put up buildings on top of it. So when I said it's a low cost-effective technology for wastewater, none of the government sector wants it because they want costly, wastewater treatment system so that they can get their own commissions, etc. When I make it very cheap, they say low cost means low quality. That's what they think. It's not. So I don't use the word low cost. I call cost-effective. I call cost-effective method technology. And then wetland is an extremely good methods of cleaning wastewater. In the city of Calicut, there's a wetland where the hospitals were draining. That is now cleaned, and then it is one of the best urban wetlands in Kerala. Similarly, there are many wetlands of course, in India, in Delhi, many places where we are now trying to revive some of the wetlands which were lost. Recently, during Ganesha Puja, a lot of these lakes are used for dumping the Ganesha idols. We prevented in many places. We showed them an alternate place for dumping. And Hyderabad is one city where we could prevent the statues being dumped into Hussain Sagar Lake, which is one of the best lake. We could do it. So if people are united, and more so the women are united, nothing can stop. It can do wonders. Thank you so much. Kusum, you're muted.
You have raised so many issues, Dr. Jayakumar. I think that, we have always been talking, you and I, about these different issues. About the point you raised about the cosmetics, etc. I have seen the same thing, jams, fruits, sweets, drinks, etc. being made in Bali, in the Bali wetlands. So I think it's become, especially because Bali has, Dhruva will also put on the other bio as I speak. As we keep on developing tourism, this is really useful to have this back little home-based.
Hibiscus is another plant.
And the other one is the shrinking of the wetlands. It would interest you to know that our parliament has been set up in a form of wetland, which had a 1,000-acre reservation. Not much is left now, and because of what we have done in our filling in, we have had the dubious distinction of sending the Sri Lankan Parliament underwater twice. Not nice.
Yeah, I've seen your Parliament once. 2004 when I came, it was underwater. Yes.
It went underwater twice because of the loss of the catchment.
Another thing is, the hibiscus plants which grow along the side of the wetland. That's another beauty product. Hibiscus is exported. I've seen in Fiji Island they export $400 billion worth of hibiscus to Europe and Argentina for making shampoos and facial products.
So this is our safety pin girl, and this is what I'm supposed to speak about today: capacity building for entrepreneurship in wetland management. And I will limit my talk to just a few slides. And there is a small little film which I would like to show at the end. So this is where Kolkata is and where the wetlands are. And these are a little bit of details about the wetlands. Here, these are the institutional details. Here are the ecosystem services that are provided. And talk about the ecosystem services came to the fore because of many pragmatic issues. Reaching out to policymakers in terms of making them understand what these wetlands do. When one presents in this manner, then one is able to make a point very quickly. So this is the work profile for the East Kolkata wetlands, and I will show some of the the graphs, etc., just later. But these are the things that I need to draw your attention to. And there, as you can see, that there is a whole lot of illiteracy, and the rate of work participation of women is just about 19.7% of the total female population. Here we see how much of percentage of, out of the female working population, what percentage is the main worker in the household. Some of these people who do directly work on sewage-based livelihoods have come into that work after their earning members have passed away one way or the other. The good point is that these women get equal pay for equal work. This is one unwritten rule that prevails throughout the wetlands, and this is something that is helpful for us. Marginal worker in terms of presence is 33.3%. Marginal workers who do work for 3 to 6 months is this much, and marginal workers who work only for household industries as a proportion of the marginal workers is this much. And so here we are. These are some of the visuals, very, very simply done, so that I didn't make it too elaborate. Here we are. And yeah, so we work in 2 revenue villages, and these 2 revenue villages are here and here. These are the 2 places, and these are called Tardaha and Tardaha Kapashati, and the illiteracy rates are quite high. And here there are indirect linkages to wetland livelihoods. They concentrate more on animal husbandry or marketing of wetland products. These are our learnings. These are the local realities that are important considerations while planning. Non-formal education is very, very important. Trust building is very, very important. Facilitators need to be there all the time. So NGOs, community-based organizations, and self-help group linkages are needed, especially for technical capacity building, which is a long process. Okay, and so I just exit from this, and what I wish to do is get in once more and see if I can show the film. Yes.
তুমি মেয়ে সন্তান হয়ে জন্মেছো বলে এইটা কিন্তু কোনোদিন ভেবো না যে তোমার জলাভূমিকে টিকিয়ে রাখার দায়িত্ব কিছু মাত্র কম। সেইটা কিন্তু জানবে প্রকৃতি তোমার মা, জলাভূমি তোমার আপনজন, একে তোমায় টিকিয়ে রাখতেই হবে।
So it's over to Kusum and Dr. Morsing
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think one thing that sort of I would like maybe someone who's doing the wrap up is to talk about talked about the constant presence of the NGOs. So what is the role of the social auditors who work with these communities? I think this is something which we could take up. So thank you very much, Dhruba and Christian. Thank you for coming on. It must be with the time zone differences. We would really, can we have the bio please, the bio slide? Christian has been a staunch pillar of our consortium, which has, we presented at the UN Water Summit. We were going to present in the Stockholm Water Symposium, but then we found that it is so expensive. They are pricing themselves out of the market. I'm sorry, I have to say that. And but as Christian and his group from University of Pennsylvania has been working with us in many World Water Forums. We're starting with Istanbul. So I think this is something that we hope to keep this connection going. I can see Amisha here as well and Debbie.
So I'm going to try to speak. I have the feeling that we had the understanding that Amisha was going to check out some of the questions that have been raised in the chat panel. And if there are any questions before I finalize, I would like to ask Amisha if there are a few questions that she would like to see and be addressed to some of the speakers.
Thank you. I don't think there were many questions that came up. I think one question that did come up was for Professor Jayakumar from Crystal to ask about the technology that's being used to treat the water currently based on the system that he was sharing. So if maybe Professor Jayakumar could help answer that question and open also to other questions from the audience right now as we sum up over the next 13 minutes.
Yeah, this constructed wetland which I did is a natural treatment system where there are certain plants which are grown. We did small studies to find out how many plants have been grown. So when you grow 4 to 6 plants of this Typha family, which is locally available in this place, and we have a detention period about 6 to 7 days. The BOD, which was around 250 at the inlet, reduced to less than 20 at the outlet when it passed through the plant. Okay, so this we did, in different seasons, in summer, winter, rainy season, autumn, spring, and we monitored for about 15 months. And then we found the water quality has improved a lot. I mean, almost except for consumption, it can be used for everything else. It can be used for agriculture, it can be used for road washing, it can be used for gardening, it can be used for everything except drinking. Okay, so this is, one of the pioneers in this is Dr. Kedlek from US. In fact, I did meet him in Tanzania when I went for a conference. He gave me a lot of ideas, and then there's a mathematical model called KC model which tried to fit it. And then we came out with a very optimal number of plants which grown in about 5 to 6 days. The water is allowed to, wastewater is allowed to pass through it. I could improve the water quality by 90%. And this has been, actually adopted in Tanzania, where about 200 plants are run with my technique, but not in India, because it is a very cheap, low-cost technology. So when in Tanzania it is being run, almost 250 plants are being run in Tanzania.
This is the story. I'm sorry to kind of make a point over here, but I will add to this, Professor Jayakumar, because this is the story that my teacher, the late Dhruva Ghosh, kind of tried to communicate all his life. And there were very few takers from the government. So one day he was a member of the National Wetlands Committee of those times for 10 years. And he told them once that, this technology is not going to propagate any further because you don't want it to succeed. So that's the basic. And yeah.
Right. Thank you. Is there any more questions, Amisha, that you wanted to raise up? If not, I would like to start building on what was just said by Professor Jayakumar and Dhruva. I am very interested in this particular area because not too long ago in 2009,
I just show a book, Christian. This is a book which is the
Yes,
book which I
Cadwick and
was
Wallace.
reading.
Yes.
Right, right.
Yeah, this is probably one of the best books in the world at the moment. A lot of ideas came from this book.
Thank you very much. We are needing these quite a few more of these books all over the planet. The point of this particular story started for me when I was in Cameroon, where they had in the 80s starting to do ponds for creating fish in the mountain areas of northeastern province. And there was no water in the form of fishing opportunities, so they created ponds. And with the ponds came a project creating the opportunities for fish farming. And about 5 or 6 years later, all these fish farms started to die. No fish. The whole idea of organizing the quality of the water and to make sure that there was life possible in that was gone. The technology that was needed, the instructions and the teaching that was needed, and the maintenance of it was left to people who did not could have captured that. The idea of doing something with water was great, but they did not know how to do it. And that particular element of seeing that wasteland at that time, because it was not a wetland, it was a wasteland full of mosquitoes and malaria creating opportunities, that I found as a public health person a drama from a health perspective. Knowing that once people tried to start something in the 1980s around creating water supply for food. And that particular thing is now amplified when I'm looking at the wetlands. When I was in the wetlands in Calcutta in 2015, I saw a beautiful system of using wastewater, what we call now food enriched water, to be used for fish farming, for growing, and being brought into the area around us without bringing all that fresh water to the sea. We have learned from that and understood that this particular kind of organizing wetlands and seeing wetlands as part of the ecosystem around urban environments is very well to be used in future places elsewhere. On top of that, we learned from in Israel that Israel has started to say, okay, we will not use any more wastewater that goes to the sea. We will use it. We will treat it where needed, and then we bring it into the agricultural domain. And they have set it up on a national scale, complete plan. This was not something where politicians were going easily and there was a kind of marketing situation. No, this was an overarching management plan for the whole commons of Israel. And that's an interesting element too, because you see that these guys are learning from the mistakes made in the past, but we're driven by the fact of water scarcity. And to me, the whole idea of what we can do with wetlands, and not so much restoration and keeping them great, but the idea of expanding on it and creating wetlands, mini wetlands, small wetlands. In Philadelphia, we now do small urban wetlands are not more than a tennis field grade. That kind of activity is very much informed by the kind of knowing what happens and was done in East Calcutta with the wetlands there. The learning that we can do over international is something that we can apply in this particular situation. I have learned a lot from what seeing at the Calcutta wetlands, but I also have seen from Israel how that can be done in a management structure that makes sense. And the idea here is to create, for me, the extra element that comes to mind is the problem that we see in agriculture. The tendency to go for monoculture, the tendency for mechanized agriculture, and the exploitation of the soil without thinking about soil restoration. Groundwater pumping in the western part of the Americas is such that we are creating total drama. And we have soil depletion to the point that it's incredible. We need to capture that idea as well. So
Dr. Mossing, sorry, we have a couple of questions that have come up as well. I think Dr. Samantha has his hand raised, and then we have a couple of questions in the chat as well. So since we have a few minutes.
By all means.
Yes, Dr. Samantha, please.
Yes. Please. Actually, my question is in the same line. Can we start some initiative so that government realizes that, yes, these wetlands are very important for the rectification purpose, especially in the cities. Okay, if this starts from the United Nations, then probably the job is simple, relatively simple. And India should realize these things, and we should proceed. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Another question that we received is from Ms. Anne Contractor. The question is, as Shilpa's presentation pointed out, apart from climate change, women also face many issues of environmental degradation and lack of social security and labor rights. This includes increasing industrial pollution from expanding infrastructures on coasts, such as ports. So is this an issue that will also be taken to Bali, and how?
We come in on this one.
Yes.
We have been talking about constructed wetlands in Sri Lanka for the last, 23 years. And one of the people in my university, in fact, we had a constructed wetland in the university. He was one of the pioneers. Why I believe it does not get traction is that, as was mentioned, there's no commission in it. Nature doesn't pay you commission. So, so basically it is cheap. When you say immediately cheap, you have this problem of, it's useless. So we need to bring to Bali the thinking that we are talking of nature-based solutions. This is one of the best nature-based solutions that I have known for the last 23 years, but it is very difficult to operationalize it. So people, let me tell you my little CCC theory. The concrete commissions, constructions comes together. And it is this which, stops us from going into solutions which are so much easier than so much cheaper than having the mega projects which are done by construction companies. So I think that wherever we go, especially in Asia, I have seen in Japan, little paddy fields in the middle of a town. Why do they have that? A paddy field is a wetland. Why do they have it? Because it is a flood control measure. So we do have all these little ideas which come to us from our past, from our culture, but we are unable to take it forward because of all the political situations which very often happen are dominant in our many of our countries.
I think I'm Contractor also has a hand raised. I know we're running short of time, but maybe we can.
Yes. I think we'd all love to hear her. Yeah, yes, we'd love to hear her. Hi, please. Hi, and can you take on your video? Can you open your video? Yes, that's great.
Hi. Thanks for your response, Kusum, but maybe there was a miscommunication in the question. I was not asking about constructed wetlands at all, actually. I'm raising the issue of increasing. Yeah. I was saying that I was not asking about constructed wetlands. I was raising the issue of increasing port infrastructures along the coasts of India, against which fisher communities are resisting, right from Gujarat to Kerala to Tamil Nadu, which is where my research was. And a lot of this increasing port infrastructure encroaches on existing wetlands, and especially on floodplains where women practice shell picking or practice prawn picking. And it is the care work of women which is not valued enough or valued at all, which leads to impact assessments that are incomplete They do not factor in for the loss of social value of the wetland or economic value for the wetland for artisanal fishing communities. And I was wondering if this is an issue that will be raised in Bali as well.
I think that issue, Ayn, is not only in wetlands studies, wetland research, but in almost all the studies that we have done on water. So it is also, I think, part of it is to do with the kind of thinking and maybe even our pedagogical systems. So it is a major issue which will have to go, because if we continue to work in this system in this way, we are definitely not going to make a change. But there is also a need to bring together some kind of program which will impact on political and decision makers. Because in the end, whatever we do, the political decision makers are the ones who will take the decision on, are you going to fill in this wetland, or are you going to, let it become some kind of either a constructed wetland, retain it as a wetland. Almost all of the problems which are related to filling in wetlands has a political root.
Which is, on my end, one of those things to bring up, that indeed it makes sense to start thinking in terms of understanding wetlands in the total water management plan that the whole government can put for the whole of the community. The idea behind it is that you cannot understand wetlands from urban areas, from agricultural places, from other aspects of the whole watershed aspect. And the context of the wetlands is a very important part, in my opinion, for those places where water scarcity is a big problem. In the Sahel, I would love to see mini wadis being created, so to speak, using the model of Calcutta and saying, how can we do that in a constructive way? In Senegal, we are talking about the same kind of thing right now, using the Israeli concept of using wastewater, knowing that you have to do some testing, but in principle, using natural systems and creating those natural environments to restart building the soil, restart building the trees, restart building that whole life of biodiversity. Water penetrates almost all the sustainable development goals. And we need to pay attention to the fact that we cannot only focus on WASH or on women only. It is an integrated kind of thing on a broad spectrum.
Yeah, that's a wonderful thing to say. That's a really wonderful thing to say. Kusum, so are there more questions?
Yeah, yes, there are a couple of more questions. Sorry.
Yeah, I think we have a few extra minutes. We will not be cut off. So, yes.
Okay. There was a question in the chat from Sasanka Dev. The question is, what are the indicators which may confirm that women are playing an effective role in wetland management? This is an open question if any of the speakers would like to share their thoughts.
So may I?
Yes, please.
Yeah, actually the only one thing I realize, and I have learned from the different workshops I've attended, that Nalini Nayak, okay, she said once that we have to treat our water bodies as a mother treats a child. So these water bodies are like our child. So we are the best, we know what is the requirement. And she cited one example that in Tamil Nadu, the reeds collector, so they were, stopped from collecting the reeds from the government bodies. But these women protested. And they have convinced them that we are not going to devastate because this is like our child. So we are protecting it. So give us the right. This is our right to water body. So women are definitely playing very important role, because in the last 10 years, these women in fisheries, their identity, they were actually very much unheard and invisible person. Their voice was not heard. But for the last decade, since 2015 in India, these issues of women are coming up, because earlier there was only one category, fishermen community. There was no women. So women as an identity, women as an entity, these are coming up. And I'm very hopeful and thankful that in the southern India, our scientists are really motivating the fisher women. They're doing many capacity building training workshops and making them realize in this, co-management, how to, protect the ecosystem, how to build, how to resilient the climate, and how to cope up with the climate crisis which we are facing in the last 3-4 years. So this thing is still yet to happen in West Bengal, but it is already happening in one part of India that I can say. And the other part, in Maharashtra, Gujarat, they are really facing this problem of, fuel emissions, the question which iron contractor was asking, this, degradation of the industrial pollutions and this. So there are also movement going on, and now government is also becoming very sensitive to these issues. So definitely, I think that women are playing definitely an effective and impactful role. So this is the thing.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think when you think of what's going to Bali, it is not just the West Bengal case, because this really resonates around Asia. Every one of the activities that we have seen, that you have mentioned and you have so beautifully brought forward in your visuals, is happening in other places. So it is an issue which will definitely go back. We'll go back, think about it, reflect. But when we do go to Bali, we should not go to what I call the SOS, same old stuff. So we should go with new thinking, and I believe this is part of what this new thinking is going to be, part of what we are going to be presenting. And the importance of presenting the need to get women as climate change catalysts, as activists, as leaders, and not only as victims. Because right now, this victim image is what seems to precede in many of our discussions, oh, poor women, poor landless Indian women. This is not it. They are very, very strong. Only thing, we need government and the civil society come together in giving them the opening. So, Dhruba, how are we doing?
So we have exceeded time by about 8 minutes, but we can take another 5 minutes if there are more questions to answer. That's what my backup team tells me. So, yeah.
I just have to have a small point. I think there's a lot of change required in mindset. When I say a farmer, people think it's only male. When we played some gender games, when I ask people, I'll tell a word, you identify it with the male or female. When it's a farmer, it says always a male. When it's a farming, it could be male or female. I mean, a lot of, this word, I think any women's conference, women network, women meetings should have 50% men to sensitize men that women can do as much as you can, or if not better.
Yes, that's an important point.
Yeah, we should have men to sensitize men that women are capable, if not better than them. That's very important. I always emphasize this in any women's meeting, that involve men in the meetings so they understand that women are capable. That is something which we'll have to emphasize. In fact, the number of students who have done PhD with me, out of 15, 10 are women, and most of them worked on water management, irrigation management, climate change, drought, floods, all women. And they do a wonderful job. I'm very happy about that they are doing it.
Dr. Jayakuma, yes, thank you. I strongly feel that, this mindset change is one thing that we need to take to Bali. Because if you look at, I remember the poetry of William Blake, there's somewhere he says, to break the mind-forged manacles, we are all held back by these mind-forged manacles. So I think that the change, the mindset change, the attitudinal change is what will give us solutions. Can I give you the last words, Christian?
Well, I would like to say the mindset is also set indeed by cultures and where we are. And in certain places, that particular mindset gets shaped also by more global environments in which we now get all kind of information. We are able to talk about 5 different continents at the same time. It's that kind of dialogue that starts infiltrating the mindset as well. this particular, I think, of the women's issue is actually an almost universal problem. And it gets, and the idea of the gender, breaking the gender problems in that field is happening all over around us. And I think that these kind of dialogues help create changing the mindset, not only among the men, also among the women. Women need to start finding their voice also. And sometimes they need to be prodded to speak up. And you ask them to be in democracies, and then they ask, who shall I vote for? That's not the right question. When you are in a democracy, you should speak for yourself. And that's the kind of thing that I think goes with that same mindset. We need to also unleash the women's own power by bringing that mindset to bear. It's a dialectic process, and I am totally agreeing with the professor here and Ms. Kusum, because Kusum knows that being strong, you'll find people who want to fight you. If you're weak, nobody cares. So once you're strong, you catch blowback. So that's the kind of thing that I'm looking for. Like women being talked to, and then they know that they have to talk back. The whole idea of this particular movement, I think, is deeply rooted in not only the structural positions, but also the cultural awareness around the mindset issue. I'm totally with that. Same goes, by the way, about how we are, as cultures, see wetlands, see the whole notion of the women's place in the workforce, etc. If it's only the child, then I'm saying to myself, hey, I'm a father. What does that make me? Right? So the whole idea is, let's discuss this forward, understanding that women's voices need to be heard more, that women also need to claim it.
That's a very important point, Dr. Mossing. And since we've come absolutely, there are just absolutely close. There are just 2 minutes left before we will probably be required to wrap up. Let me thank all of us for participating in today's webinar, and suggest as a point of additional agenda for Bali about preferential access for small-scale wetland community to wetland natural resources. And as Dr. Mossing has pointed out, yes, we need to speak for women, but women also need to speak for themselves. And the women who are present there in today's webinar are, I think, strong examples of how we need to go forward. So we'll all put our heads together and put in place a good, strong agenda, charter for that we will need to take forward for Bali. I also would like to make an announcement. We are not sure, but we hope we will be able to work towards a bigger offline meeting in Kolkata next year. We are very keen on it, and we are beginning to make preparations for it. Let's see how it goes. We will need support from all of you, and we will be in conversation with each other. But thanks to everybody for participating from all corners of the world. It was a wonderful exchange of ideas, and all of you, very busy people, spending so much of time with us to contribute and to enrich this discussion. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Please do
Bye.
join the other meetings that we are going to have on our way to Bali. You are most welcome. Your ideas are absolutely essential. Thank you very much on behalf of the Women for Water Partnership.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.